Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, hi, hey, hello. My name is Meg, and today I'm going to be answering some questions, talking about a giveaway, talking about 1,000 subs. So here we go. The first question that you guys asked, I asked you guys on Instagram, if I was to do a Q&A video, what would you want to ask me? Anything about anything. And you guys gave me some questions, so I was thankful because sometimes I ask if anyone has questions on Instagram and I get like no questions. So I was like, oh, this might not happen. But the first time was face reveal, and is this facey enough for you? Or did you want to be super close? Ooh, look, you can see my wrinkles. Anyways, the second question I had was someone just wanted to say hi. So, hi, how's it going? Otherwise, this is so weird talking like face to face to a camera. It's really, really weird. So anyways, I'm going to try and ignore my face staring at me and just answer your questions. The first question was obviously like, I guess the first personal question was face reveal, and like I said, is this facey enough for you? I don't know. The second question, I got asked this quite a few times, which I think is kind of funny because I asked you guys on Instagram what questions you had for me. And a number of you asked me how old I am, and it's literally in my Instagram like bio. I'm 26, so I have been done school for a while. I know bracelets are like popular and in with like, I guess, teenage kids, but I've been making bracelets for a very long time, so I'm not a teenager and I'm not a visco girl, but there you go. I'm 26. The third question I got is also, I mean, I think I've dropped it somewhere in a video, but you would have had to been like paying attention and listening to absolutely everything to catch it. And this question was, what state do you live in? And I don't live in the States. I live in Canada, so we have provinces and territories, and I live in the province of Alberta. So then you guys came in with the hard-hitting question, what are you most proud of life-wise and craft-wise? And I was like, oh, okay, like a real question, like not that the other questions aren't real questions, but like one you actually have to think about. And for me, I guess life-wise is a little bit weird because I don't know, I've never been that person who ever thinks of anything and is like, you know what, I'm super proud of that. It's just not who I am. Like, I guess I don't hang on to those moments to be like, oh my gosh, I'm super proud of this. So mostly, I guess I'm just proud of the fact that like I can sit back in this age of like social media and stuff, and there's definitely times where I get caught up in it, but I can sit back and, you know, be pretty happy with where I am and where I've gotten myself, from where I like started. So yeah, I guess that kind of, you know, I took the chance and I moved, like I said in the last question, moved across country and got myself a job that like I can actually afford stuff. Like I can afford to have my own car, I can afford to, and not like a used car, like I could afford to actually like get a new car, and I can afford to keep a roof over my head, and I can afford to, you know, have things. Like obviously I still have bills, I still have debts, that sort of like everyone my age does, but there isn't really anything that like sticks out to me a lot. And I think the only important thing to really take away from all this is that in the age of social media, especially I think in your like late teens through your 20s, there's just, you look at social media and everyone is in drastically like such a different place that you start to compare yourself. And like when I do that, I know like there's definitely people who I'm like, there's times where I look at it and I'm like, wow, they're like way ahead of the game, you know, they've finished university, they're starting careers, they're married, they have kids, and I'm like, okay, well, crap. And then there's times where I look at it and I'm like, yeah, but you know what? someone from the same class as me and that person who is like done school, has a career or whatever, is also working at McDonald's. And it's different for every person, and it will always be. So I think I'm just pretty proud of the fact that I can sit back and at times when things are getting hard, I'm like, you know what? Like, I think I'm doing pretty good considering I moved out to the other side of the country, like completely broke, managed to get a little bit of savings. You know, I've got 2 pets, I've got a baby now, you know, I'm able to have a new car and stuff. And I think that's kind of like what I'm most proud of. Isn't an actual thing that I've done or a thing that has happened. It is just knowing that I am in a good position and I feel good where I am. Obviously there's room for improvement and stuff, but I think that is what I'm most proud of because I think that is a healthy headspace. Life lessons with Megan. I guess that's what I'm most proud of life-wise. There isn't really anything that super stands out to me. Like, I'm mad proud about that. There isn't really anything. Craft-wise is so hard because I've been crafting for so long. I've always loved crafting. And crafting is one of those things where like there's so many different milestones of things that you're like most proud of. So for instance, when I was like just really getting into crocheting, like I was really proud. I remember when I had made this little like drawstring, basically like a little like drawstring gym bag, like one of those backpack ones, you know, that has like the jump where it like connects at the bottom and then comes up and there's like the drawstring and you can pull it and like the strings are the straps. You know what I'm talking about. I had crocheted one of those and I was so proud of that. But now looking back at that, I'm like, that was literally the easiest thing ever. But I was proud of it because it was like the biggest thing I had made. So I don't think, I think there's always something you're going to be proud of. Right now, I think the things I'm most proud of, like craft-wise, were, like, I know how to knit, but knitting has never been one that I generally do much with, like more than a scarf sort of thing. And last year, I finally knit a full sweater, and it was like a Slytherin Harry Potter sweater. Now, it doesn't really fit me very well, but I was very proud that I had finished a full sweater and sewn it together because I hate actually like putting the pieces together. So I was pretty proud of that. And then there's some like big items, like I crocheted a Snuggie, like a full-blown, like the blanket with the sleeves on it. I crocheted a couple of those now. And I was just super proud of those because that was like a big project. Same as I crocheted like a blanket for a queen-size bed. That took a long time and I was super proud of that. But it's like, I don't know, I guess when I really think about it, I guess I'm pretty proud of this channel with like crafting because we've hit 1,000 subscribers. That's why I'm doing this video, and I think it's crazy that I'm able to, you know, reach out and teach you guys and hopefully help you guys learn how to do something that I already love doing. And I think that's pretty cool because I've always like taught my friends and stuff how to do crafts. So now that I'm able to expand that, I think that's really fun. So I guess I'm pretty proud of this channel and how big it is already, which is much bigger than I ever thought it would be. So there you go. I thought maybe like 200 subs would be where we cap out, but here we are, over 1,000 subs and still growing, which I think is insane. And then the next question is, and I think there's kind of a couple ways to interpret this, so you'll have to let me know how you meant it. But the question was, how long have you been doing any crafty thing? And I'm not sure if this question is like, how long have you been into your different crafty things? Or if it's like, when did you start getting into crafting? So I think I'm going to answer it this way. Crochet is my longest running craft. You guys, if you've been here before, you know that I've been knotting bracelets for like 14 years. So crochet I've been doing since I was in like grade 1. And you're what, like 6 or 7 in grade 1? So I've been doing that for 19, 20 years, I guess. Um, that's crazy. I never actually thought about that. Wow. That's weird. That's weird. Um, I guess that's my longest running craft. But I've also been like knitting and making bracelets for a long time. Like I said, I've just been a crafty person from day one. I always liked coloring and coloring books and like arts and crafts. Like art was always my favorite class of school and everything. So crafty has just always been something I do. So it's not really something like, oh, I reached a certain age and I got crafty. No, it's just always been kind of crafty. Next question is, what inspires you to create? So some of these questions are so good. Like I was actually expecting a lot of like, how old are you? Where are you from? That sort of thing. So it's kind of like, okay. Then we got some like different questions in here. I'm really enjoying this. What inspires you to create? And mostly it's just an urge to keep my hands busy. I am that person that like I can't just sit and watch a TV show. I can't do it. Like I feel like just so at a loss. Like I just don't. Same as like sitting in a car. I think the most awkward thing is if you have someone come pick you up, like you're carpooling to work or something, you have someone come pick you up and you just sit in their passenger seat. I'm like, I feel super, super awkward. So I generally have like something with me. I don't know. I guess it just preoccupies my mind from thinking the situation is awkward. Mostly it's just to keep my hands busy. And you know, like I'll see stuff that other people make, or I'll see an item where I'm like, ooh, I can make something similar to that. And that inspires me to create as well. But a lot of it is just a drive to keep my hands busy. But also, I'm that person who really likes to know just like how to make things. 7. Next one is, when your baby grows up, do you think she'll want to make bracelets? So if you're, obviously this person is a subscriber and knows that I have a small child. And right now, it's obviously too early to know because she's only a year old, like just this past week, a year old. So, I mean, obviously it's too early to know. But hopefully, whether it's bracelets or something else, that I inspire her to pick up a healthy and creative outlet. Me and her dad are both really into music, and she seems to be latching onto the music like very, very heavily. So if that ends up being her outlet and she wants to make music or whatever, I'm totally cool with that too. I will not be off-put if she doesn't want to make bracelets, but I hope that is something she tries just to have the experience, and if she doesn't like it, well, that's cool too. Then we get into some like more bracelet oriented questions after this one, and this is kind of the shift from like personal stuff into kind of more bracelet stuff. So the 8th question you guys gave me was, what are some patterns you want to do but haven't gotten around to yet? And there was 2 patterns that immediately came to mind when I read this. And that is bracelet book pattern number 21689 by the user Duck. And it's John Lennon. And it's like I'll post a picture here, but it's John Lennon and it's kind of like pop art, funky bright colors. And I have really cool plans for it that aren't bracelet oriented. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And I want to so badly. But I'm like, you've got so many projects already on the go. Finish them first. But then by the time I've started another smaller project, and then I feel like I'm just never going to get to it. And I really, 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 really want to. I love that pattern. For the first moment I saw it, I was like, yes, I need to make this now. So, that is definitely one of them. And then there's another one, also from Bracelet Book. I hardly ever go on friendship dash bracelets. Like, I'm just going to be completely blunt and honest. I really don't like the format of their website, so I don't really use it. So also from Bracelet Book is number 18833, and it's by the user called Nobody Else. And the like tags say it's from a game, and all the comments say it's from some game. Never seen, never played it. but I love the scene, and it's like a scene, and it's like a little person in like a red cloak, and the cloak is like flowing in the wind, and they're standing on like a hill, and you see all these like clouds and stuff, and I think just the scene is so pretty, and it's so nice, and it's not a super huge bracelet, but I really, really like it, and I really want to do it as well. And those are the two that really came to mind, was like, what patterns do you really want to do and haven't gotten around to yet? Obviously, if you guys follow me on Bracelet Book, which you certainly can friend me or whatever, follow, friend, I'm Margaron there. You may have caught it in some other videos when I was logged into Bracelet Book. And I have like over 1,000 to-dos on there because I've been on that website for eternity. So there is a lot of patterns on there that I want to get around to. But immediately, without even looking at the site, those were the two I knew I had to pull up the numbers for and tell you guys, because those are the ones that I really, really, really want to do. And like, I want to do them this upcoming year. Like, that is my challenge to myself. Hold me to that, guys. If you don't see those two patterns come up in videos this year, throw a fit, okay? Thanks. The next question is, what are some of your favorite patterns of all time? Like I just said, I have over 1,000 to-dos on Bracelet Book. So there's a lot of patterns that I really like that I haven't made, but I feel like it's not really fair to say they're my favorite pattern unless I've made them. So I'm going to interpret this question as, what is your favorite pattern of all time that you have made? So up to this point, you guys know my ship bracelet is one of my favorites. I love bracelets that have like a full little scene in them. I think there's something so satisfying about just about like finishing them and looking at them. I think they're so pretty, and it's not just like a character on a blank background. I like the whole scene. Like, it is basically like a miniature macrame painting, and I think that is so cool. So that ship bracelet will forever be one of my favorites. And then I did a like really big, thick, dark mark bracelet years ago, and I really, really liked it. I wore it until it started to look pretty gross. So I feel like it might be around my mom's house still somewhere, but it's not here to show you guys. I think there's a picture where you can like see it in it, and I'll try and find that, maybe post it. But my dark mark bracelet. And then there's a feather bracelet that I really, really like. I just really like the colors in it. It wasn't really a good bracelet to wear because it was kind of extra long, just with like the way the image was. But it's basically a feather that breaks off into like birds at the end. And I know I have a picture of that one. I have posted it on my Instagram as like a throwback. So I will add a picture of that here too. What do you like about bracelets? And I just like most crafts because they're relaxing, and bracelets are cool because it can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. So you can do like just a simple candy stripe or an arrowhead if you just want to like preoccupy your hands and like watch a movie. Or you can do like a full-blown ship bracelet, or you know, that sort of thing. And I have my ship bracelet right here. That's the bracelet that I'm talking about when I say ship bracelet. And I didn't even make it a bracelet. I've just got like tassels on the ends, so it's more of a bookmark. But I'll probably never use it as a bookmark because I think it's too wide and I don't want it to crack the spines on my books because I'm one of those people. So you can make it like as simple or as complicated as you want, which I really, really like. And it's just kind of, it becomes really zen and like relaxing when you like get into that super focused zone on a bracelet. So I do really enjoy that, but sometimes even I just don't have the patience to sit down and work on a bracelet. So I do really like the versatility of it, and I like how easy it is to carry around. And you guys still had more questions. I've been talking forever. Next question was your favorite pattern, and again, I'm going to talk about my favorite pattern I've ever made, and it's probably this one. Otherwise, if I'm talking my favorite pattern, probably that John Lennon one. The John Lennon one I mentioned. The hardest pattern, what is the hardest pattern you have made? Surprisingly, some of you might think like this is the ship bracelet. No, it is not. Surprisingly, it's actually a bracelet. I have my like tin here. It's actually a little like keychain doodad that I made. I did like one of those Instagram bracelet competitions, and one of the challenges was for a Halloween bracelet, and I had this pattern in my to-dos for a long time, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cute, like I'm gonna knock something out of my to-dos because I'm trying to like get my to-dos down. And so I made this little zombie guy. But what made this so difficult, and it's hard to tell because my greens weren't super different, but you can kind of see here that there's actually a dark green, a mid-tone green, a light green, and then this lime green. And, or I guess like this is kind of more of a yellow. But this was an old pattern on Bracelet book, and it really wasn't cleaned up very well. So there was a lot, and I mean a lot of unnecessary color changes in this, very close together, which made it very difficult because there was like places where you really didn't need to make a color change. And so there were spots where I was just like, I'm just not going to because this is getting ridiculous. And there's like spots here, like it's literally like cushiony under this zombie's head. That's how many color changes there are, that there's so many strings tucked under his head. Like it actually like physically kind of, like, can you see that? It like physically puffs up. That's how many string change, like color changes there are in his little head. So, yeah, I think this is probably the most difficult. And I was actually halfway through this and I was like, I should just give up on this. But then it was like the evening before it was due, so I was like, nope, I gotta just power through and finish this. But this is probably the most complex bracelet I've made. And yeah, I was gonna do like a full double-sided keychain with this, and I did one little zombie dude, and then was like, no, that's it, never again. How did you get into bracelets? And I feel like everyone's answer for this is like summer camp, but mine is not. So I had a friend, and she was my best friend at the time, and I think it was grade 5, I want to say, grade 4, grade 5, and I saw her making bracelets, and she had like brought it to school. I saw her make bracelet, and I was like, because I like to know how to make things, and I like to do like the crafty things with my hands, I immediately wanted to know how. And she tried to teach me, like props to Lena, you know who you are, girl. She tried to teach me, and honestly, I mean, we were like, what, 12? So she really didn't want to teach me. She was like, kind of like, leave me alone, I just want to craft. But she did lend me her book, and I've talked about the book before. I ended up getting my mom to buy me a copy of the same book, and it's called Friendship Bracelets, and it's by Camilla Grisky. And I learned, like, YouTube wasn't a thing yet, so I learned it from a book. That's where I learned how to make bracelets, and it was because of my friend Lena. The 14th question, and as your least favorite pattern. And I don't have any patterns that like I'm immediately like, oh my god, I hate this pattern. So like I don't have anything that I absolutely hate, but 2 patterns that I found just really annoying to make were bracelet book pattern 24036 by Crazy Knots. Was frustrating to make because the pattern looks quite simple, and you know what, and no, like Crazy Knots patterns are all like really really good, and I think this was like, she puts out a bajillion patterns a day, it seems. So this was like a while back now, but she made this pattern. I am sorry, getting my face in there. It's like making, and it's a pretty simple pattern, except for when you go to actually knot it, just like the way it's knotted isn't super intuitive to how one would think you're knotting it. Like, I started segment knotting it, and I kept having to undo knots like over and over and over and over again, just because it was really, for me anyways, personally, it was not super intuitive to tie. That does not mean, like, obviously the end result looks pretty cute. I do like it, but there's a lot of spots where I had to go back and undo knots in this, just because it wasn't intuitive, and just didn't, this was not my favorite to make, and I almost gave up on it, but I used this bracelet for my video on buckle closures. If you haven't seen that video and you're like, what is a buckle closure? A buckle closure is like this, where the knot itself keeps your bracelet closed. So it's clean and like professional looking, and it's removable. So that's a buckle closure, and I had already filmed the first half of the video starting this pattern, so I felt obligated to finish it, otherwise I probably wouldn't have. But the pattern looks good in the end. Just make sure you pay attention to the knotting pattern, because it is not super intuitive if you're trying to segment knot it. And then the other one was bracelet book pattern. Sorry, I have everything like wrote down here. So 25904, and it is by a user called Ravenclaw7. And it's actually a fairly recent one too. I don't think I have it in here. I think it's actually on my ankle, so I'll just post a picture of it here. And it's literally just kind of like this tribal, almost spiral sort of geographic design. And it was another one where it looked like it was going to be pretty fun and simple, but it was not intuitive to me, and the pattern was just not clicking. So again, it was a lot of undoing knots, undoing knots, undoing knots, undoing knots, which gets so frustrating when all you want to do is like knot through a pattern. So those are the two that come to mind, but I don't really hate them. Like, I like how they turned out in the end, and I might make them again. They're just ones that kind of came to mind when I was like, well, is there anything, like, there's nothing I really hate, but is there any that I've found annoying or disliked for some reason? And those two kind of came to mind. This is by no means saying they're not good at making patterns. It's literally just a personal thing, where if I had actually sat and read the pattern, would have been fine, but I was trying to memorize it and segment knot it, and it just wasn't clicking, and I just had to keep referring back to the pattern. And I had chose them because I thought they were going to be like relatively simple to do, and they ended up just not clicking and being frustrating to me. So they are very nice patterns. I do like the way they came out, so just keep that in mind. I don't actually hate them. And then the last and final question was, will you be doing a giveaway? And yes, I plan to. I will give away 2 custom bracelets. You can choose the pattern, you can choose the colors, up to 20 strings wide. That is my only catch there, because I only have so much time in a day. So I'll do 2 custom bracelets up to 20 strings wide, whatever pattern you want, and all you have to do is please be subscribed and comment down below. That's all you have to do. Comment what you like about bracelets, okay? Comment what you like about bracelets down below, and I will take all the users that comment something what they like about bracelets down below, into a random draw, and I will pull 2 names. So I'm not looking for landmark things that I'm going to read and be like, oh, this person sounds like they really enjoy bracelets for the right reasons. Like, no. Basically comment below. I will put your name into like a random generator and pick 2 people to get custom bracelets. Please make sure, if you are a younger viewer, that you are allowed to give out your mailing address. This is open worldwide. I will send them to anywhere. And then I will announce the winners in a video, and we'll give you, I don't know, I'll determine the time then to contact me, because I think they've done away with the messaging system on YouTube now. So I think that's everything. So if you guys have any questions, if you have questions for another question video in general, if I do another Q&A video, drop that down below. If you liked this Q&A video, please give it a thumbs up. And otherwise, I will talk to you guys later. Bye!